Alan Moore doesn't actually understand Superman, but you probably don't either. If you actually read his comics, he's pretty masked off about his lack of imagination for the character. Two of the Superman stories that many refer to as among the greatest Superman stories ever told were written by Alan Moore. One being Superman Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow and Superman Annual 11 for the Man Who Has Everything. Many of you have probably heard of the latter despite not reading the comic because it actually was adapted in season 1 episode 2 of Justice League Unlimited. Now, neither of these stories actually work, none of them hold up, and they both prove Alan Moore doesn't truly understand Superman. But retroactively and ironically, many of you didn't actually understand these stories either. I keep seeing YouTube videos and online forums praising these stories without giving any actual substantial reasons as to why they are essential Superman reads. Now, first, I really want to talk about For the Man Who Has Everything, which fails at its conception because it never should have been a Superman story from the beginning. It should have been a Batman story. Batman is a man who is deeply traumatized, cannot form healthy relationships, and lost his parents at 8 years old. It's far more compelling to see Batman gifted with everything he ever wanted and being forced to leave it behind than Superman. But remember, Alan Moore doesn't actually understand Superman, so it makes sense that he'd put him in a Batman scenario. He thinks he's Batman. Now, as soon as Superman is possessed by the Black Mercy and he enters his delusion, that's supposed to be the thing that he fantasizes, the thing that he wants the most, we see him with a wife and family. We're only a couple pages in and the comic has already broken its own rules. Superman already has a wife and family in main continuity. He already has the love of his life in Lois Lane, and he has loving parents in Ma and Pa Kent. The only thing this delusion that's supposed to be everything that Superman ever wanted gives him that's unique is a son, which Superman could easily have with Lois any day. Now, I do want to say the comic and the animation are pretty different, which we will talk about both. Because while the animation is better than the comic, it doesn't contradict itself constantly, it still doesn't make any sense. In the comics, Superman's fantasy, the thing he wanted the most that the Black Mercy gives him, is quite literally worse than reality. Jor-El was a huge prick who cuts off his brother and half of the House of El over politics, and he incites a whole riot on Krypton. Supergirl gets brutally beaten up and hate crimed, and Krypton literally explodes. The plot makes zero sense because one, it isn't following its own rules, it constantly contradicts itself. If the Black Mercy is supposed to give its captive what they desire most, why is Superman witnessing such carnage? Is that what Superman desires, Alan Moore? Do you think that Superman desires to see evil? Like, this guy is edgier than Zack Snyder is. Now, with Justice League Unlimited, it makes a bit more sense because they don't show all of the riots, the political violence, or Jor-El's pure bigotry, but the illusion still ends with Krypton literally exploding. And the episode is really weird when you read the comic. I read the comic right before I watched the episode, and you could tell that the creators, the writers of this episode really wanted to include everything Alan Moore did in the comic, all of that edgy nonsense, like Jor-El being this weird bigot, all of the riots. But I guess they didn't because they wanted to save screen time. So everything is kind of just implied. Like, you just have to make inferences. Like, Jor-El implies that there's a lot of problems going on in Krypton, and we do see Krypton explode at the end. So it's still very contradictory. This is supposed to be what Superman wants most, and I guess he wants to see Krypton explode. The plot is also stupid and shows that Alan Moore doesn't understand Superman because why would Superman even want to have a life on Krypton? Why would he fantasize about living on Krypton? He already is with the love of his life. He already is surrounded by great friends and family. And you're trying to tell me that Superman doesn't truly want any of this and that he would prefer some fairy tale life with a woman he's never met, a father he's never met, and a planet he's never been to? Alan Moore has to make everything edgy. He has to make every character darker. It's Batman who's supposed to be not content with his reality. It's Batman who's supposed to have all of this trauma. Superman is fine. He's good. He's not fantasizing. Like, of course he would love to have met his birth parents, but he's good. This isn't a Superman story. This is a Batman story. Now, some of you may say, well, that's the point of the story, Shine. The reason that the Krypton illusion was so chaotic was Alan Moore trying to say that the greatest fantasies isn't peaches and cream. Now, this still doesn't work for multiple reasons. If that were were truly the point of the Black Mercy to show its captive like a version of the world that they would want, yet it's really chaotic and it's not good. One, why didn't Batman get the same tragic ending when he was possessed by it? The Black Mercy showed Thomas Wayne beating up Joe Chill, and Bruce would later marry Kathy Kane and have a daughter with her. A seemingly happy ending. It's also so inconceivably dumb that once Batman gets rid of the Black Mercy, after seeing the visions of, you know, his parents being alive and him having a wife and kids, everything's good, he doesn't really react. Like once that illusion goes away, he's just kind of like, okay. Like he's pretty chill about it. It's so dumb. You see this in the animation and the comic. I mean, you'd think that, wow, I just saw my parents who I love, who, you know, I became Batman because of their death. You'd think that he'd have a bit more of a reaction. Maybe he'd be sad or cry. And it would have been cool, since this is a Superman story, even though it shouldn't be, it would be cool for Superman to cheer him up and like say like, I got you, Bruce, and, you know, have some empathy for him. But no, just poorly written. Mongol also got a happy ending. He ruled over the galaxy and he was content. So if it was about showing the faults in our fantasies and that we should appreciate what we have, why did only Superman get a messed up fantasy? Plus, even if that really was the point of the book, though it would make zero sense as I just explained, it's not very deep or emotional for Superman to walk away from a world that's horrible anyway. The animated show, though it still had issues, is far better than the comic because Superman is at much more peace and happiness in the show. They don't show all of the gratuitous violence that the comic does. You actually get to feel Superman's love for his son and his family. So when he realizes that it isn't real and that he has to go, you feel it much more. He also tells his son, "I never forget you," which really hits you deep in the core. Whereas in the comic, his departure is very fast. There's no real emotion behind it. And what Alan Moore did in the comics, you see this done in comics a lot, like Flashpoint or Batman the Gift, where writers will give the protagonist the very thing they lost in main continuity that defined him as a character, but will subvert your expectations by showing you that the universe is far worse. Like when Barry Allen saves his mom in Flashpoint, but a apocalyptic war ensues, or when Booster Gold saves Bruce Wayne's parents and the world literally goes to hell. It's all very lazy writing meant to manipulate you as the reader to accept that, hey, this hero has lost a lot, but it could have been a whole lot worse. If I were writing these stories, I'd switch it up and actually give the hero what they want: a paradise life with no crime, no pain, no hurt. Meanwhile, the mainline universe is under attack, and the hero can either choose a life of peace or let his real universe die. Just imagine Batman living in a world of peace, no villains, no Joker. It's just him, Thomas, and Martha. Just imagine Bruce Wayne smelling the smell of his mom's famous apple pie and her screaming, "Honey, the apple pie is ready, come eat." And Bruce forcibly having to leave, like him just crying, having to go save the Justice League. That tragedy, that emotion, that says so much more about Batman's character. That really pushes the reader so much more than, well, yeah, in a world where my parents are alive, Nightwing literally becomes the Punisher and he's killing everybody. Yeah. If Batman would have kept his parents, everyone would have died, so he had to lose his parents. No, he did not. Some things are tragedies, guys. Alan Moore does not understand this, and that is exactly why Superman, the Man Who Has Everything, is not a great comic. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I think everyone should read it because it is iconic. And I mean, it's created by the Watchmen creator, so you gotta read it. But you know, I really wanted to like it. I mean, I really love watching it, and I this book is so critically acclaimed, but it's just not good. If it were a Batman story instead of a Superman one, it probably would have been really great. Okay, now we have Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. God, why does Alan Moore pick these long names? This book is far more critically acclaimed and praised than The Man Who Has Everything, and I find that very disrespectful. Like, when it comes to The Man Who Has Everything, you sort of kind of have to have a brain. You have to have a certain level of IQ to notice how dumb it is and how it, you know, contradicts itself the entire time. And you have to have knowledge on these characters. You have to be a writer like me, I'm writing my own comic, to actually know that the story doesn't work. But with this one, I feel like anybody should be able to tell that the story doesn't work, especially in the third act, but people still love it. Like, people glaze this story so much. I expected so much more when I was reading it. I mean, the premise of the story is that Superman died, and you pretty much find out how Superman died. That's the premise. That's the premise of the story. It's 2 issues about how Superman died, and you're finding out how he died. I mean, since this book, we've gotten 3 new stories about Superman dying, 4 if you count BVS, and they have all handled the concept and the story and the build up to it and the aftermath way better than this. And once again, this is a story that kind of makes more sense for Batman. When you read the whole thing, you don't think this makes more sense for Batman. So basically every villain in Metropolis starts attacking the Daily Planet and Superman's friends all at once. It's like a weird coordinated attack. So because everyone is in danger, Superman brings all of his friends and his 2 love interests, Lana Lang and Lois Lane, to the Fortress of Solitude so that they could be safe. And like the Legion of Superheroes come like to pay their last respects to this guy. In the final page of this issue, is like, it's kind of like an iconic panel or page, and Superman is just like on the bed, like kneeling down. I don't know why, like it's not that deep. Guys, I'm telling you, go read Superman and the Legion of Superheroes by Jeff Johns. It is so much better written. It actually explores Superman's impact. The Legion of Superheroes, it's way better than this. Now Lex Luthor, who's possessed by Brainiac, and teams up with Kryptonite Man to attack the Fortress of Solitude to like get Superman, I guess. And to make a long story short, I kid you not, they literally kill Lana Lang, Jimmy Olsen, and Crypto. Literally, like just unalive them. And then we find out that the real person who was responsible for all of this, like all of these villains, was actually Mixieplix, you know, the interdimensional imp. And he decided to be evil for reasons. He just woke up one day and said, you know, I'm gonna be evil. And he attacked Superman. And guys, I kid you not, Superman then kills Mixieplix, and then he kills himself. He walks into a room of gold kryptonite. He's like, nobody has the right to kill. Not Mixieplix, not Superman, especially not Superman. And he just unalives himself. But it turns out that Superman actually faked his death. He didn't actually die. He's living happily ever after with Lois Lane. That's, I guess, the story. He doesn't even acknowledge that 2 of his best friends were literally atomized and killed. And he doesn't even get any closure with Lana Lang. I mean, he literally was talking to Perry White about relationships, and he's saying that, hey, I used to be in love with Lana. You know, she represents Smallville in my life. But obviously I moved on to Metropolis and I fell in love with Lois, and I need to tell Lana, but I don't want to because it'll break her heart. He never gets to tell her. He never does tell her. You know, she just dies. Like, you'd think that they'd actually, you know, follow up on that story beat, but I guess not. And seriously, Superman killing Mixieplix and then unaliving himself, that is so dumb on so many different levels. Guys, if you want to read a story that's about Superman dying, read All-Star Superman. All of those handle this way better than whatever this is supposed to be. Please do not, well, read it, of course, read it, but it's not one of the best Superman stories at all. It's not great. It's not good. It's no. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Use code ShineComics in the Fortnite item shop, please. Please do it. I'll give you a cookie if you do it. And yeah, and consider becoming a member. It greatly helps support the channel. I really appreciate everything you guys do for me. You guys are my world. And I am working on my own comic book, you know, Sunburn, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'll catch you guys later, man. Peace. Love y'all.